Hey guys, it's Surgeon here, and welcome to a new video. So the last video I did like this was actually pretty well received, and this video we're going to kind of do a little bit of the same thing. We're going to talk about things that you should be doing like to upgrade your gear. So basically some kind of milestone gear you should be going for, and this video is going to specifically talk about melee. The main reason is that there's a lot of gear we could talk about with melee. Like, there's a lot of shit we could talk about. So yeah, I'm going to dedicate the entire video to just talking about melee, and I'll do another video later where we talk about mage and range. So this gives you kind of an idea of, like, let's say you're at like full rune right now and you're just about to get up to 60 defense and you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to upgrade to. Well, hopefully this video will help you with that. So with that being said, let's jump into this. Alright, for all intents and purposes of this video, let's just say that you're starting off at like 60 defense and you're just starting off. So like what you should really be going for. So let's start off with your helmet. A good all-around and usually like a best in slot for an all-around kind of helmet is going to be the Helm of Neatsnot, which is going to be from this quest, the Fremnik Isles. However, if you haven't gotten to that yet, if you haven't done that quest yet, then if you've done the Fremnik Trials, Zerker helmet is also very good. It's also a very good option. If you're going for slash bonus and you're trying to prioritize your slash bonus, like if you have a whip, then you can obviously go for the warrior helm, which gives you more slash bonus. Once you've kind of gotten to your Nade's helm, you're going to want to upgrade to, if you need like a tank helm, you can go for a serpentine helm. It's obviously not as good as it used to be, where it gave you a strength bonus as well, and its venom effect was also different, but it's still a very good defensive helm and something that you should upgrade for, especially if you're going bossing and you plan on tanking. Like, having a serp helm will be beneficial for you. Now, if you need a kind of tanky helm, but you also need prayer bonus with it as well, and you don't really care about the bonuses of the venom, which there's not many cases where this would happen, but I guess if you were ever worried about it, then you can go for a helm. It gives very good defensive bonuses, and it gives you some prayer bonus as well, which is to be noted. But to be honest, like when it comes to your helmet for bossing, like Naed's helm is pretty much going to be your best in slot, unless you're tanking, and you may want to go with the serpentine helm. If you're doing Slayer, to be honest, you should have an imbued Slayer helmet or an imbued Black Mask, either one. The Slayer helmet just gives more defense bonuses, but if they're imbued, they both give the same effects and the same damage bonuses when it comes to Slayer. Alright, moving on to your neck piece. Pretty much you're just going to want to either rock a Glory or a Fury for the majority of your levels. The reason I say that is because obviously the Torture is better for melee, but you're also investing like 12 to 15 mil, whatever the price is at the time of this video. You're going to be investing that much money into a necklace, basically just a necklace for one particular combat style. It's really not worth it to buy a Torture amulet that early. This is going to be one of the last things you want to buy. A Fury is very good because it's all around good in multiple combat fields. So as you're starting to upgrade your gear, you want to go for a Fury. It's going to be something you're going to be using in every single combat style, except for, well, magic, but we'll talk about that. But your Torture is going to be one of the last things you're going to get. It really doesn't give that big of a difference from the Fury, and the Fury is just an all-around better amulet for the majority of fields. Alright, so your chest piece. Fighter Torso. This is like your bread and butter. It's pretty much what you're going to be using for like basically everything. The only time that you're really ever going to switch this out is when you need like a Barrows top and when you need specifically either ranged or melee defenses. But this does not happen very often, if ever, because you can usually pray against it. And usually you're going to be wearing some kind of magic top like a Carol's top to give you better magic defense. And you won't ever really need a tank top. So your Fighter Torso, you need to do Barbarian Assault and get it. Like the overall benefit of a torso is massive. It gives you the defensive bonuses of a rune plate body, which isn't that bad, but it gives you strength bonus as well, and it's best in slot basically until you end up getting a Banos chestplate, which, by the way, Banos chestplate is right down there with like the Amulet of Torture and like Primordial Boots. Like, they're like one of the last things you should be getting, especially like with the BCP. The thing is that the torso is so good compared to the BCP. Like, the BCP I think gives like 2 more strength bonus or like 1 more strength bonus or something, and like a ton more defensive bonuses. But for what the torso is worth, it is a magnificently good chest piece, and what I would recommend, basically, you hold on to that for like forever until you can eventually afford enough money to get a Banos chestplate after you've gotten a few other things that I would highly recommend over getting a Banos chestplate. For your legs, you're pretty much going to want to rock either like dragon legs or some kind of tank legs like Darok legs or Torag legs. I'd recommend Torag plate legs over Darok's because of, like, obviously the price difference between the two. But you can pretty much get away with rocking dragon legs or dragon plate legs and be completely fine, or a plate skirt if you're into that. But you can pretty much get away with rocking that forever until you eventually get enough money for tacets. Quick note on obsidian pieces. The defensive bonuses they give, like, they're really not that good in comparison. Obviously, with the obsidian plate legs, you get one strength bonus, but you're sacrificing a ton of defensive bonuses. And to be honest, like I'd rather just have my dragon plate legs over my one strength bonus from the obsidian legs. So that's my kind of take on that. For the tacets though, the tacets are great. Like it's a huge upgrade. It's one of the only pieces in the game for your legs that gives you strength besides the obsidian plate legs, and they give you very good defensive bonuses. This would be one of the things like I would recommend you upgrade with your armor first from the versatility that you'll have, because you'll see a lot of people run around with like a fighter torso, but they'll also have tacets on. Tacets are a great thing to invest into, and I'd highly recommend them to be on your high priority list of things that you should try to save up for to upgrade. For your boots, yeah, dragon boots, pretty much what you're going to want to use the entire time. There's not much variation in this. There's something to be debated when you talk about using bandos boots, when you want the more defensive bonuses, like if you're going to DKs and you plan on having to tank a lot of shit. Bandos boots can be recommended there to help with the defensive bonuses and sacrifice the strength bonuses that the dragon boots give you, but all around dragon boots are pretty stellar. Like you're going to want to use those forever. On the topic of upgrading them to primordial boots, it's like a well over 25 mil upgrade, and basically the GP for the upgrade, like the ratio between it's not worth it. It's very low. This will be upgrading to primordials is something you're going to do towards the end. Upgrading to primordials will be something that like after you've already gotten your tacets and gotten a couple other things, it's down there with like your BCP and your torture. Like they're things that you're not going to want to upgrade for a very long time, strictly from just the amount of money that they cost you to upgrade. So talking about your rings and your cape together, you can get a warrior ring for very cheap. You can get a warrior ring for around like 82k, which I'd recommend like if you don't have the money to invest into a berserker ring, because it does give you attack bonuses in your slash, which is the combat style that a dragon scimitar and a whip both use. So having the extra attack bonuses from a warrior ring is actually kind of nice. So I recommend getting that. When you've got enough money though, like you can get a berserker ring for like 3 mil or something, and it increases your strength bonus by 4 instead of increasing your slash attack bonus by 4, and this is well worth it. Like increasing your strength bonus by 4 versus the 4 attack bonus, like the value of 4 strength bonus is much higher than the value of 4 attack bonus. So I'd recommend getting a berserker ring like as one of your first upgrades, definitely before tacets, just from the sheer amount of money that having a berserker ring costs you. But I would recommend getting that. Obviously, if you're going to hold on to your warrior ring or your berserker ring for a long time, get the 650,000 nightmare zone points and imbue it. When you imbue the rings, it actually doubles the bonus you give. So like the warrior ring imbued is going to give you 8 attack bonus, and the berserker ring is going to give you 8 strength bonus. So it's well worth it, especially with the berserker ring. Like 8 strength bonus off of a ring is crazy. You can use the ring of suffering too, but it's more of like a tank ring than anything. It gives a lot of defensive bonuses. So with the defense bonuses it makes it great for tanking. It also gives you 2 prayer bonus, which is kind of nice, but it's worth 11 mil. Like it's really not worth it. If you're going to camp a lot of Zora, then ring of suffering is probably really good to invest into, because you get to put a ton of rings of recoil into it. But other than that, unless you plan on tanking a lot of bosses, like ring of suffering is really not worth it. I would much rather just sit on an imbued berserker ring, especially if I'm training. Talking about your capes though, obby cape, if you've got it, like if you've got 300k and you haven't done any quests, then obby cape is completely fine. If you've done legends quests, then go ahead and do a legends cape, which is completely fine as well. For attack bonuses, especially for stab, the RD cloak is actually magnificent when it comes to this. So if you've got an RD cloak, like you can always rock an RD cloak. Like it's fairly good, especially for it being a diary reward. But in all honesty, fire cape. If you got a fire cape, wear that shit all the time. The only time where it gets outclassed is by the RD Cape 4, and the stab attack bonus, I believe, on the RD Cape 4 is better than what the fire cape gives you, since the fire cape mainly prioritizes in giving you strength bonus as a cape. But to be honest, all around, fire cape is going to be magnificent, and if you've got a fire cape, you should be wearing it over like any of the other capes I just talked about. But if you haven't done any quests, obby cape is completely fine, and RD cloak is completely fine, but you've obviously done quests if you have an RD cloak. And then finally, fire cape is definitely at the top of the list. Obviously, infernal cape is higher, I know, but to be honest, if you're watching this video and you have an infernal cape, I really don't know what to tell you. Let's talk about the shield slot. Alright, this is going to get a little bit more in detail. So, if you don't have a Dragon Defender, which is what I would recommend for your all-around training, then you can use an Obsidian Shield. The Obsidian Shield gives you 1 less strength bonus than the Dragon Defender. However, what you get with the Dragon Defender is you get 1 extra strength bonus, so you get 6 instead of 5, and you also get attack bonuses, which makes a Dragon Defender much better for training purposes than the Obby Shield. The Obby Shield obviously gives you better defense bonuses than the Defender, but in all honesty, if you're training, you want the Dragon Defender. It's much better because of the fact that it gives you attack bonuses, which increases your accuracy, and it also allows you to hit higher because of the strength bonus as well. Talking about the Dragon Fire Shield, Dragon Fire Shield is very expensive. I wouldn't really recommend buying it unless you got like a 13 mil or something to blow on it. Fun fact though, fully charged, it actually gives you more strength bonus than a Dragon Defender. However, because it doesn't give you attack bonuses, this makes a Dragon Defender better for training. The Dragon Defender has a perfect mix between attack bonuses and the strength bonus, so that's why you end up using the Dragon Defender when it comes to training. However, a Dragon Fire Shield does give you much better benefits over like an anti-Dragon Shield, but it does cost you 13 mil, and if you got 13 mil lying around, like I'd prioritize getting this over like a BCP or like Primordials or something. But it's definitely below game like Tacits or a couple of the other things I'm about to talk about. So in reality, the way that I would rank these things, I would definitely say like a Dragon Defender is much better than an Obby Shield, and then a Dragon Fire Shield, strength bonus wise, is great, but I wouldn't really recommend it for training, and it's going to be something that you're eventually going to want to get, but I'd prioritize like getting Tacits and getting a Zerker Ring or something like that over getting a Dragon Fire Shield. Oh, I skipped over a couple things. I skipped over the gloves, and I skipped over the arrow slot. Obviously, for the arrow slot, you're going to want to use a blessing. It doesn't matter what blessing. They all give +1 prayer bonus. You can search them up on the Grand Exchange. You can probably get one for like 2K. They're really not that expensive, and they give you +1 prayer bonus. For your gloves, Barrow's gloves. If you don't got Barrow's gloves, then what you're going to want to use is the combat bracelet. Other than that, get your fucking Barrow's gloves. They're the best in slot gloves for like every combat style in the game. Like for an all-around combat style, like Barrow's gloves are great. Obviously, some gloves are better than, or some glove slots are better than others when it comes to the Barrow gloves. Like, for example, the bracelet for the Zenite bracelet for maging, that's obviously better than the Barrow's gloves. But Barrow's gloves all around are best in slot, just as an overall item for the glove. Now let's talk about what everyone wants to talk about. Your weapon, your melee weapon. What is important? Well, D-Simi is a great overall weapon for when you're starting off until you get 70 attack. Once you get 70 attack, you're obviously going to want a whip. Whip is great. Whip Dragon Defender gives you like the best mix of like attack bonuses and strength bonuses, which is why most people would recommend using a whip and Dragon Defender for like almost everything. It is fantastic. It is great. On the topic of the tentacle whip, it's not worth it unless you're bossing. Like if you are bossing and you're using a whip, then you want to just upgrade a tentacle whip for the extra bonuses it's going to give you, plus the addition of being able to inflict venom upon your enemies. But you're only going to want to use a tentacle whip when you go bossing, because the tentacle will actually consume your whip when it's completely out of charges. So I wouldn't recommend, training with a tentacle whip. To be honest, those are going to be your two main ways of training. If you want to train strength, and I'm going to get this question, I know, if you want to train strength, the order of things that are best to train strength with will go like this. Number one is going to be an Abyssal Bludgeon, which is fantastic. It attacks at the speed of a whip and gives you a ton of strength bonuses and attack bonuses. It's two-handed, so there's that, but it is great and probably the best thing to train your strength with. If you don't want to spend the 30 mil on it, like I wouldn't really recommend it. I don't know why I have it. I just use it for bossing pretty much. A step down from that and much lower and much more reasonable in cost would be the Abyssal Dagger. Again, it attacks at the speed of a whip. It's one-handed, has less strength bonuses and attack bonuses than Abyssal Bludgeon, but you can use a Dragon Defender or you can use like a Dragon Shield and go train on dragons with this. So there's that benefit to it as well. Below that, you have the Saradomin Sword, which is two-handed, and then below that, you have the Dragon Scimitar. So if you're looking to just train strength, you can do that. Personally, what I do, I have not just trained strength. I pretty much got to 80 combat stats. So what I recommend people doing is they use like a D-Simi or like an Abyssal Dagger to get to 80 or 85 strength, and then get your attack and defense up to 85, and just train on controlled. It's the most efficient way because of the fact that Whip and Dragon Defender give you the best mix between attack bonuses and defense bonuses, or between attack bonuses and strength bonuses. You want to try to use that as much as possible. So if you train on controlled with a Whip, yes, it's going to be slow getting the levels, but overall, like, you're getting experience faster than training things by themselves. If you want to just get like a particular level to 99, like in general, then sure, go ahead and do whatever you want to do. But like for me, that's what I do. I'm not going to tell you how to like actually train your melee stats. That's not what this guide's about. I'm just telling you what I do. A couple things I want to talk about when it comes to spec weapons. You have a couple like sets we can really talk about here. SGS, holy fuck. SGS would be like the number one thing I would tell you to save your fucking money for. Like SGS, it's like 30 or 40 mil or something like that. It's ridiculous, but holy shit, I love my SGS. It was like one of the first big purchases I got. I got it before I got fucking Tacits. Like pretty much the order of when I got my SGS was I got a Warrior Ring, I got a Fury, and then I saved up for an SGS. Like above everything else, I was like, SGS I want. And you're going to say, Surgeon, you're fucking crazy. Like, it's like 40 mil, and it's the first thing you're telling me to save up for. I'm telling you, as a spec weapon for Slayer and training and bossing and anything, it is great. For sustain, it's fantastic. It increases your max hit by, I believe, 25%. I'll put an annotation if I'm wrong. I'm really in the moment right now. But it increases your max hit by 25%. It heals you for like 25 or 50% of whatever you hit at a minimum of 10. So if you hit, you're going to heal at least 10 hit points. And then on top of that, it's going to heal, or it's going to heal back 10% of what you hit as prayer with a minimum of 5. So you, unless you hit like, as long as you hit, you're going to get 5 prayer points back. This is insane sustain when it comes to using it on Slayer, like as a spec weapon. It's fantastic. At bosses, it's insane for the sustain you can use it for. I love my SGS. Actually, I take that back. There's one other thing that I would recommend getting before you start saving for an SGS. Full Guthans. Holy shit. As training, full Guthans, you will never have to worry about food. Like, pretty much, like, once you have SGS Guthans, like, you never have to worry about food in Slayer again. Like, you never have to worry about it. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's insane. But Guthans, I would definitely recommend saving up for first. It's going to minimize the amount of food you're going to have to use. It will slow down your training because of the fact of how long it takes, like, the amount of ticks that a War Spear takes to attack versus a whip. But in terms of sustain and in terms of like being able to stay on a task longer, if you're not prayer flicking, because I don't prayer flick because I'm a casual, but Guthans is fantastic when it comes to that. After your Guthans, SGS, save up for an SGS. It's so good. However, in terms of other spec weapons, when it comes to bossing, there's a couple other ones we can really talk about. A BGS is fantastic. Because of the fact that it lowers defenses. Yes, you only get like one spec because it costs 60 spec or 60%, but the lowering of defenses is really good, especially if you're in a team, to help your other teammates out, to help you guys actually kill the boss faster. A step up from that when it comes to lowering defenses, Dragon Warhammer. That's a lot of money. Yeah, I would not really recommend it. I don't have a Dragon Warhammer yet. But if you've got a Dragon Warhammer, like, take that for bossing. Like, the special that it does is really good as it benefits your entire team. If you hit, you lower the monster's defense, which is great. It speeds up your kills, and if you alternate that, like if 2 of you have Dragon Warhammer and you alternate specs like every other kill, it's going to increase your kills per hour because of the fact that his defenses are lower, so you're able to hit more often as well. Finally, like another kind of, this is kind of like a cheesy spec weapon, but it's really fun. It's really fun. If you've done the Western Hard Provinces diaries, you can actually get a Crystal Halberd by upgrading a Dragon Halberd by talking to, I think it's like either a Lund or someone else. You can upgrade it to a Crystal Halberd, and this shit is hilarious. You can get some insane amount of damage with the Crystal Halberd. I think I took it on like one of our Bandos trips with an old clan of mine, and they were like, holy fuck, you do a lot of damage. And I was like, yeah, it's really fun. But Crystal Halberd, like, you can hit like 60s or something like that. Like, you can hit ridiculously high numbers. It's really fun, a really fun weapon. If you're purely looking for damage, it's a fun weapon to get, and I would recommend getting it as a spec weapon. And the special only costs 30%. Other than that, Dragon Dagger is a great spec weapon. It's like 20k, and the double hit's really nice as well. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of really other spec weapons or weapons I would really talk about. I am going to wrap this up, though, and talk about like what I would really buy first. I'm actually going to have like an Excel sheet, like a Google sheet in the description to talk about like what I would upgrade first and why. To be honest, like, for all intents and purposes, we'll say that you've got like, you know, full rune and you're trying to figure out what you should upgrade first. First things first, get your Slayer or get your fucking Black Mask. Like, if you're doing Slayer, get a Black Mask or get a Helm of Nate. It's not first thing that I would recommend. Cheap, and Nate, it's not, it's like best in slot all around. After that, Fire Torso. Like, you should already have a Fire Torso. Fire Torso is fantastic. Best in slot pretty much until you get to your BCP. After that, get Dragon Legs. You want your Dragon Legs, give you very good defensive bonuses, and that's really what's going to be driving a lot of your defensive bonuses throughout most of your training. After that, Dragon Boots. Dragon Boots are great. Very cheap, very affordable. Gives you strength bonus, great for training. Weapon, D-Skimmy. D-Skimmy is very affordable. It's like probably like 90k now, thanks to Tormented Gorillas. So you're welcome for that. For your shield, Dragon Defender, go get that. Once you're at 130 combat, then you want to go and start farming up your Dragon Defender. It takes a little bit while, but it's worth it. After that, get a Warrior Ring. It's like 80k or something. You can sit on that for a while. Get an Obby Cape after that. It's going to be best in slot pretty much until you got a fire cape. Unless you're going to be using prayer, then your arty cloak is pretty good. After that, make sure you got a blessing at all times. They're pretty cheap. Yeah, after that, you're going to want to upgrade prioritize on getting a set of Guthans first. It's going to be your first priority. After that, save up for an SGS. I'm telling you, it's worth it. Do it. Fucking do it. After that, Tacitus is what I would recommend. And then finally, you can start choosing between whether you want your BCP or you want like a Ring of Suffering or you want Primordials. At that point, it's really up to you. The bonuses are kind of here and there. I'd recommend getting a BCP before anything else. I'd probably go like BCP, Torture, Prims. Probably the order I would go. Alright guys, that's going to do it for me. This video is already long as fuck as it is. If you did enjoy it, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to see more content from my channel, go ahead and subscribe. And if you want to give me any feedback on the video or let me know any kind of troll or anything, comment section below is for that. Finally, my CC, Discord link, Twitter link, and Twitch link are all in the description below. So if you want to join any of those, feel free to join there. We have a nice little community growing. Yeah, thank you guys very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.